confidential letter by a senior military figure, top secret, not to be divulged to Indians. I think it's a very honest document. And he says, British troops cannot, not again in capitals, shouting, be employed in communal disturbances to protect Indian subjects. So this is, if you need a confession that the British would not just leave hastily, but would also literally leave Indians free to kill and die in this kind of brutal manner, you don't have a better piece of evidence than that.
This is an incredibly racist order, not to intervene to protect Indian life and to only intervene if British life is being threatened. Mountbatten, a figure with a great deal of power in these conversations, does not fight against the order. Failure is not the right word. It's just very symptomatic of the colonial mindset. Their priority is cutting their own losses at whatever cost to Indian people. Because of that intensification of violence, you see massive movements of people. They're moving because they're fleeing for their lives. You have Hindus and Sikhs moving eastward toward India, and you have Muslims going west to what is now Pakistan. This turns out to be the biggest human migration in history. Between 12 to 18 million people moved overall.
A lot of people leave, sometimes in the middle of the night, sometimes just with whatever they can carry in their pockets. My family are ethnically Punjabi. They came from what is now Pakistan. My grandmother is told in the middle of the night, get out. Take your small children, get out and get out now because they're coming. They're Muslim neighbors who tell her that, and they are right. And because of their help, this poor woman with her very small children, and my mother, a baby, is able to get out, smuggled out just with the jewelry that she's wearing because she might need to barter for passage at some point. And they flee. And that story is repeated, so many times from both ends.
These columns of refugees end up being hundreds of miles long. The dust from their tramping feet would raise these great clouds that you could see from the air. Where people were buried in shallow graves, their limbs, arms, legs sticking out of the ground that were being dug up by dogs and vultures and so on. It was a scene of utter devastation.
You see hundreds of thousands of people leaving in trains. The militias would then target these trains, abduct the women on board, loot whatever people were carrying.
Went to see that train. It was full of dead bodies. Refugees, Muslims. Women was mostly abducted, taken away.